Update about on tenant or rentee a landlord be fee so betnemu at the blind side of the landlord no or danny a fee no into a nightclub by making massive renovations as well. And of a few days ago, and a story we called viral said one this particular video any nyabotwe now follow this particular story. Now your question at the mamo as to whether the landlord was smart after discovering that by kicking out this tenant, and I say he was foolish and didn't try to make money out of the situation by reaching an agreement with the tenant. And now said tenant no and a sebi unim nyansa chesena opese or outsmarty the landlord. Why didn't you on that side ebe here pa now update be and I say aba I merit this particular video. Now to begin with, they see here any yenam TikTok ni viral video be according to the report no tenancy ababe renti fie so betnemu na allegedly or dani fie no into a nightclub awatu ni din say shetua. Now, or say, this house, our done into a nightclub or renovations without telling the landlord. As for our renty, say, ube use it for residential purpose. You can residential purpose. I'll bet now or for your friends or by yourself. Find your business be not ye fear no amount. Now, all of a sudden, why renovate I just say, oh, they a business, a night club. So first video I call viral any. So that was the video that sparked the whole incident. Now, a second video by showing the inside according to that particular report also. No, a guy in doing renovation, caused a lot of damages to the rooms now or be rented for residential purpose before so what done at the night club wire rewiring bubu baby according to that particular video. Now answer na ebe call the final update abano. Adofo moment ko that video as well. Nyabothre yeba yebeto amuso.
So this was just a few hours after the eviction took place. We were just walking through to assess the changes that had been made, as well as any damages. Mind you, it had been almost 2 years since I had walked through this property like in detail. So I was just taking everything in. And just for comparison, this is what the place used to look like back when we were renovating in 2020. So it was very much an open floor plan. There were no like structural divides in the living area, plenty of light coming through the windows. So we did feel like, what the tenant had done had given it a completely new layout when we did not like. But anyway, walking through the rest of the house, we noticed quite a few damages. They may not have been anything major, but they were more annoying than anything, right? Because it just showed a lack of care and respect for someone's property. But you know what? It is what it is. I guess it comes with the territory of being a landlord, but we found various things missing, like cabinets in the kitchen, stovetop pieces were missing, wall outlets, the sockets, light switches, things like that. Anywho, because the house is an older house, the rising damp didn't surprise us, but it's not necessarily the tenant's fault. I just wish he would have told us so that we could have mitigated the progression of it. Instead, it was all covered up with wallpaper. Anyway, he had sent his people to come and remove all the plasterboard over the windows. They had also covered this beautiful glass divide that led to the corridor, so I had them take that down as well. Over the next few days, they had come to dismantle the cabanas and the outside bar that they had put in the backyard, but that ended up also causing a lot of damages. We were really just focused on trying to get them out as soon as possible so that we could have our property back. We noticed that there was a lot of paint chipping because he decided to paint the house black and then white again. He had also added this sort of like ledge on the roof for extra spotlights, I guess. Yeah. And then he ended up taking the water pump, and when we asked him to put it back, he brought one that wasn't working. So I just felt like that was really petty. And then worst of all, we came to realize that he rewired all the electricals in order to give each room its own ECG meter, which I'm pretty sure is illegal, but it took 3 electricians and thousands to fix this. Anyway, this is where the pool used to be. He covered it up with sand and tiles, and then this is where the outdoor bar was. And we're trying to figure out how to fix this up because there's like all these pipes sticking out and electrical wires. So I think this is going to take a little bit more brain power. But anyway, this was like 1 month after we cleaned up pretty much everything ourselves because we realized the tenant was not going to commit to the restoration. And so we ended up having to do the restoration ourselves. So a lot of that started with trying to take care of a lot of the damp proofing, making sure like any damages due to the things that they had done were fixed before we could even think about painting it and whatnot.
So that was the second update. Now, Obi Baby say update bang ena aba. Now, tenants no ebuofu we dra lie. Na issue no na ekopie mu ewo court ema sisia no notice bi eba ema tenant no say on fixing the house. Na endaneti senior na eti obeji. That would mean say any renovation, whether positive or negative, o fie hono e was say obubu no na or fixing the place as it was and sana obe renti. Now or the excavator eko fie ho say edan bi a we see some project edue bi a we duadua e wo compound no just to make the nightclub look very very beautiful no. Omumbubu ni nyina. Yes, seni buefu. O say utu no because of this say I was say obubu bibia and he has court order to back that particular action. Now on the excavator eba compound ne so no say landlord no lawyers any mpenyimfo bi ebe stepping in together with police omo patrol e mani mbubu bibia na they would omo be price renovation awaye na omo di sika no amano. Na tenant we na ne buefu pa se omagu n'anima ase omagu ne business anima ase by putting out half baked story out there just enye no kre 100% the omo keka no omo mpese omo the full truth ebeba beto out na omagu n'anima ase enti that is the court order on osu ekita obeteki action. Now at the end of the day they reached an agreement. Tenant no mbubu the whole renovation or down. Now, question and crofo ebisa and he says, see a landlord no negotiate say obetua any sort of renovation that has been done. Adenti and I want yes sir in the first place as so the video never told out. Or adenti na one renegotiate the place. Say obeje for residential purpose, see adani business into no ana commercial purpose. Into see no you would have to top up for me ebia for the remaining years you have there. Say years no esua na me pese me 2 na che say me 2 see no issue na be dani way to the extent say tenants no break it down at the building. Now question no still remains. Do you think say landlord no was smart or he was foolish? And do you think say tenants no the or was also good or bad? For you share if a comment section no am I Vimbas TV so na
I'm currently at Shitwa. A couple of days ago, there had been a social media trend on a property at Osu where the tenant was alleged to have rented the space and had turned the residential property into a nightclub. And according to the landlord, the tenant has refused to pay needed rent and also accused the tenant of illegally wanting to take over the property without their consent. Therefore, they took the matter to court. And according to the tenant, he has been given a court order to take everything that he has placed there, both movable and then unmovable. So early this morning, upon seeing the video going viral on the internet, the tenant decided to come and then take everything he has installed in the place, including the flowers, an office space, which is this one. This is an office space. The tenant, when the tenant came here, there wasn't any structure like this. So he's going to take off everything. This structure was constructed by the tenant in addition to what he came to rent. The back here is another structure as well that the tenant also added to the property he came to rent about half a decade ago. And according to the court order, he's supposed to also take and or remove this structure as well.
I called them that the things are even in the warehouse. So I texted mommy that when she comes down, we'll sit down. Then all of a sudden I was there 2 days ago. My name is all over social media with this video. You understand? And the damage that has been caused, so the disrespect is too much.
Oh, okay, sorry. Sorry. I misspoke. Sorry.
Tensions went high and the tenant feels disrespected and also feel his reputation has been damaged with that viral video. This triggered a tenant to come to the property to pull every single item he has added to the property, including movable and unmovable structures, per the court order he received from the court. So in the process of grading and pulling down the structures, the lawyer of the landlady and then the boyfriend of the lady who posted the video on social media came to plead with the tenant not to pull everything down and to stop the demolition process, but then would agree to the fact that they have caused a damage to the tenant's reputation and also would want to value every single addition that the tenant has added to the property and then will pay it back to the tenant. This was agreed between the lawyer of the tenant and then the lawyer of the landlady. So both parties agreed to solve this matter amicably. The lawyer of the landlady sincerely apologized to the tenant for causing all this reputational damage.
So I do apologize for being
I'm human. Sorry.
But this whole Shetua Bruha hasn't ended yet. Keep watching this space. We'll bring you more details.
Vimbaz TV.